Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. First off, I want to jump in and say Happy New Year, guys. I really hope 2025 is amazing for every single one of you. In today's video, we are going to be doing a rubber base infill, and I'm also going to be answering a few questions that I've seen pop up on the older videos on the channel and some questions I've had on Instagram, basically about rubber base application and a lot about infilling a rubber base. So I thought I would cover it as much as I can in this video, but if you do have any questions, do pop them in the comments below and I'll be happy to help. The set I currently have on my nails is one that I did in a previous YouTube video, and this was also a rubber base infill with cat's eye gel polish application over the top. And one of the questions I got asked on Instagram after doing this set was, how many times can you infill rubber base coat? So in all honesty, it kind of depends on a little bit on personal preference and also how your clients are wearing the nails and how good they are at maintaining their upkeep of their nails. So things like good aftercare and whether they're using cuticle oil regular, because one of the reasons why I wouldn't continuously keep infilling rubber base coat is if a client was getting a lot of lifting. So if it comes, for example, for myself, I usually do 2, maybe 3 infills, and then I like to do a fresh set anyway, just to keep an eye on my natural nails and just to fully rebalance everything. And sometimes after having a couple of infills, it is nice to go in with a fresh set of nails. But if you've got a client who maybe after 1 or 2 infills, you're noticing that they're getting a lot of lifting, then I would go in, instead of trying to remove a lot of that lifting, I would go in and do a fresh set of nails. Now there can be several reasons why they're getting a lot of lifting. If they don't normally get lifting, it could just be that the new infills aren't working for them and they need that fresh set on. It could be that maybe something's changed in their aftercare and things like that. If you know it's not your prep, for example, because prep does cause a lot of lifting issues. So yeah, and also another reason why you might not want to do an infill is if the design isn't going to match the color that you're infilling. So let's say you've got a really dark rubber base shade, quite a peachy nude opaque shade, and then your client comes in and maybe she wants something sheer and natural looking. You're not going to be able to infill and create that look, so you would have to remove the layer of rubber base coat and come in and do a fresh set. So as we can see here in the video, I took a 100 grit file, took off the top coat, my cat's eye gel polish layer, and then I've started debulking some of that rubber base. Then what I like to do is switch to the 100/180 boomerang file, and then I'll use this to file the shape. Again, if you're doing an infill, you can change the length and shape of the nails depending on the length the client already has. So here, for example, if I didn't want to keep my nails this rounded shape, I could come in and square them off. If you was working with clients with longer nails, you could maybe come in and start creating almond shapes and things like that. So at this point is where I would come in and reshape the nails. I was keeping my with the rounded shape, so I've been quite liking that. It's a little bit different for me. I used to be a full-on square only girl or almond, but lately I've been quite liking the natural rounded shape. So I'm coming in and doing this with the 180 grit side of my file. I will also use the 180 grit side of my file to remove any lifting as well. I did have a little bit of lifting on my ring finger. In all honesty, it's been a while since I've had too much lifting. I used to be a really problematic lifter, but since really focusing on my prep, I haven't had too much of it, but I did have a little bit of lifting on this set. So depending on how well the next set lasts, I will probably go in and do a fresh set. I probably will anyway, as I've got a few designs that I want to try for New Year that might not necessarily work with an infill. But yeah, at this step, I would take my 180 grit file above the line where the rubber base coat has lifted, and it will gently flake away. Once you have removed all your lifting and you've debulked the nails, I don't debulk too much because I've not actually built up too much bulk in a rubber base overlay. We're then going to come in and clean away all of that dust, give the nails a really good scrub, and then we're going to switch to prepping the nails. Now when it comes to prepping for an infill, you prep very similar to how you would a fresh set of nails. So I'm going in with the Helsinki cuticle tool. I love this one because it's got that flat edge that really pushes and scrapes off any cuticle or that's growing up the nail plate. And then I switch to the rectangular end, and this just helps scrape it all off. So I push it back, and as you can see, that lifts it off the nail plate, and then I flip around with that angled end and just scrape it all away, being very gentle because these tools are very sharp. Where I've been scrubbing at the nails with some alcohol gel, this has actually softened the cuticle a little bit, so it's made it a little bit easier to remove. But again, depending on what you're using, sometimes cuticle can be a bit tougher to remove, but with the new K&S tools, they are super sharp, so I always find it gets rid of it so much easier than any tools I have used previous. Now, when you are prepping an infill, you've obviously only got a small area of fresh nail plate to work on, so that kind of speeds up your nail process, but you do still need to make sure that you are prepping thoroughly. Then I'm going to switch to the Vienna cuticle tool. At this point, usually I will use this one or the Sophia cuticle tool, but I like the rounded end on the Vienna one. So what I'm doing here is pushing back any living tissue. So any sort of that area around the cuticle that you're not removing, I'm pushing this all back so it's exposing as much of that new nail growth as possible. And then again, I'm going to go in and give the nails a bit of a clean with some alcohol, just so I can really take a good look at them, make sure I've got away any lifting, make sure that I've removed any cuticle, any stubborn areas and things like that. And then I'm going to go in and prep that new nail growth area with my 180 grit buffer. So I'm just gently buffing over the nails, going in different directions, not going in the same direction over and over. Just going to do a few quick swipes. You can use circular motions up and down. A mixture of all of them is beneficial because then you're not constantly going over the same spot. But we're just doing this quickly and gently to simply remove the shine from that natural nail plate. And then we're going to go in and dehydrate with some alcohol before then coming in with primer. Now, one of the other questions I had on infilling with rubber base is, could you now come in and instead of infilling with rubber base, infill with either builder gel or sculpting gel? And the answer is yes, because rubber base is a base coat. It is designed for builder gel or sculpting gel to come over the top of it. So if you don't want to come in, say your client, they wore the rubber base coat and they just want something that's a little bit more stronger, then you might want to choose to come in with builder gel instead. So what you would do is you would do all your prep as normal. You would then still come in and apply one coat of your rubber base coat, so your thin normal coat, to infill that new growth area. And then you'd still go over the entire surface of the nail, so the whole nail has a layer of base coat down. And then instead of coming in and building any structure or doing a second coat of rubber base coat, you could come in with either your builder gel or your sculpting gel and apply that as normal. So it's great that it's quite versatile, especially for clients who maybe are new to having their nails done and they haven't found a system that works for them yet. So a lot of the time, if I was working on somebody new, I would go in and assess their nails, and I might think, you know what, a rubber base coat is strong enough for them, but then they might come back and they've got some chipping, or they just wanted something that was a bit more stronger. So then you might think, actually this person would be more beneficial with a builder gel. So if they haven't got any chipping or any too much lifting, you could definitely come in, infill your rubber base, and then do a builder gel layer instead. Or if you're just wanting to mix your nails up, a lot of the time I use builder gel if I know I'm going to be encapsulating glitter or nail art, so that would work better than encapsulating with a rubber base. So I would infill my base layer, do a thin layer of builder gel, then my nail art that's going to be encapsulated, and then encapsulate in my builder gel. So yes, you definitely can. If you don't want to do your infill with rubber base, you can come in and use your builder gel or sculpting gel instead. The next question I got was, can you infill with a different shade of rubber base coat? So I did touch on this at the start. So as you can see here, I have got on my nails RB, oh gosh, I've completely forgotten. I think it's RB 18 or 19. I know my pointer finger actually has a different one on it because I was experimenting with something. So It's a more opaque pink shade. And I love these opaque shades in the rubber base system. And then I'm going to be infilling today. And this one is more of a sheer milky shade. So depending on the look you're going for, you definitely can infill with a different rubber base shade. The formulas are the same, so they're going to work the same as the previous color, but the pigment is obviously going to affect how the color might look. So for example, with this one, it's not too bad as long as you're happy that it's going to change this shade from a milky white look to a milky pink look. If you wear this color on its own, a lot more of the white pops in the color, and it gives off a really pretty white milky look. Applying it over a layer of pink, it is going to change how the shade looks. You're going to still see some of that pink coming through, but because we're going to be doing 2 coats of it, and on that second coat we're going to be building our strength and structure, you are going to be building a little bit more of the opacity, so you're going to see that true color coming through a little bit more. But because we have got quite an opaque pink underneath, it is going to affect it a little bit. So like I was saying, if you had a really opaque shade under the nails, or if you were using one of the rubber base coats that have the gold flakes in there, if you then wanted to come in with a sheer shade over the top and infill with that, you are still going to see that previous shade underneath. So although there's nothing stopping you infilling with another color when it comes to application or how well it's going to last, that is just something you have to bear in mind, that the certain shades are sheerer than others, so you might see the previous shade underneath. And in certain looks, this can look really nice in my opinion. Like, I love this milky white shade on its own, but having that pink underneath it, it gives it a really different look to it. It makes it look a lot more pink, and it's kind of like adding a different color to your collection. And you can definitely combine this one with any of the pinks, and I feel as though it looks really pretty. So even if I wasn't doing an infill, if I was doing a fresh set, if I wanted this shade to look a little bit more pink rather than that milky white, I would do one coat of one of the more opaque pinks or nudes in the rubber base collection, and then come in and do my second coat with this one, just to give a bit more of a hint of pink to the shade, because I really do love the iridescent sparkles in this one. It is absolutely beautiful. So going back to what we're doing in today's video, we did one coat which I kept nice and thin, and then here we're doing our second coat, and this is where I like to build my strength and structure. So I go in, I do a slip layer. If needed, I touch up that slip layer using my stripe liner brush, and then I'll come in and do more of a builder layer. So very similar to when you are doing a builder gel overlay. So I'll take a small amount of product on my brush and just walk it gently from side to side down the nails. These products, they do self-level absolutely beautifully, and I do also, before popping my hands into cure, just hold the nails upside down for a few seconds to help bring the product into the center of the nail, and then this creates a really nice natural overlay. Now, whether you are doing a fresh set or an infill, I would not recommend extending the natural nails with the rubber base system. I would only use it for a natural nail overlay, because it doesn't have enough strength in there to build a tip, whether you're using tips or sculpting. So if your client wanted to say they, for example, you are doing an infill, or stick with the infill vibe. If you're doing an infill and then your client comes in and says, oh, I want to add some length to my nails, I would infill with my first coat of rubber base, so you've got your base coat down, but then I would come in with the sculpting gel and sculpt them out the length that they want, because then this is going to provide them with the strength that's needed. So once we've done our second coat of rubber base, we're going to come in and apply a cat's eye gel polish to 2 of the nails. I really wanted to see what Silver Dream would look like over the iridescent sparkle, so this was a little bit of a last minute choice. Originally I was going to do just the infill with the beautiful milky iridescent look, but I thought, let's pop 1 coat of cat's eye gel polish over this and just see if we see any of those sparkles coming through. And you do a little bit. It's a little bit hard to capture on camera, but I really liked the effect. So I'm going to come in and apply my layer of gel polish as normal. So obviously if you've done a rubber base, you have built up a little bit of thickness to the nail. You've built up a very natural apex and a very natural looking, I've forgotten the word, a very natural looking structure to the nails. It's really hard to get back into the swing of things after Christmas and New Year. I think this is my first video of the new year and I feel a little bit lost for words or finding the right words to use. Is anyone else struggling with being back to work after New Year? Please let me know in the comments below. So yeah, I'm coming in and doing one coat of cat's eye gel polish. Of course, if you didn't want to do cat's eye, if you wanted to do, you could apply any gel polish shade over your rubber base coat. I'm going in with the cat's eye because they are new and I'm loving playing around with them and seeing the different effects you can create. There are a couple of cat's eye videos up on the channel, so do check them out. They'll be the very recent ones before this one. There's the new launch one, then the application one, which was what my nails looked like at the start of this video, and then there also is cat's eye nail art, which was a really fun video to do because I got to play around and experiment with a few different things to do with the cat's eye. So we're coming in now and top coating all of the nails. Now again, you're going to top coat as normal, so just choose your favorite top coat. I've gone for the no white rubber top coat today because it adds a little bit of strength, and I'm just going to apply this to all of the nails. Now I've touched over a few things in a few different questions I've had, but if you do have any questions when it comes to infilling or applying rubber base coat, do pop them in the comments below. There is a whole playlist as well of rubber base coat videos up on the channel, so that shows a lot of the colors we've got available and different ways of applying them. These rubber bases have massively helped me grow out my natural nails. I always keep them on the fairly short side anyway, but I used to get a lot more breakages and things like that, and the rubber base coat has definitely helped. Now something else that's been really helping my nails is taking care of my skin and cuticles, and I've been doing that using the new K&S skincare products. So I thought I'd include that at the end of today's video, as it's getting really cold here in the UK and the cold weather does really take its toll on your skin and on your nails as well. So I've noticed my skin has felt quite dry, so I thought I would give them a little bit of TLC today. So when you finish your gel polish, rubber base, sculpting, builder gel, whatever it is you've done to your nails, that's when you'll come in and do your skincare. You don't want to do any of this before applying any gel products because it's going to add too much moisture to your nails, and then you might end up with lifting, peeling or chipping issues. So fully complete your gel service, allow your top coat to cool for a minute or two before you then come in and do any kind of skin or cuticle care. So I'm going to come in and start off with the shea butter skin scrub. So as you see, this is a little tricky to do on camera in the setup that I have, but I've just taken a bowl of warm water, moistened the skin with some warm water, taken a small amount of skin scrub. A little bit does go a long way. I used enough here for 2 hands, even though I'm only doing 1, so a little bit does go a long way. And then I've really massaged and exfoliated it into the skin, and this is going to remove any dead skin cells. It just gives the skin a really nice refresh, and it leaves it feeling so soft and smooth after. I do have quite sensitive skin, so it does always look a little bit red after I do anything with it, but it feels amazing. It doesn't feel sore or anything like that. The redness also is mainly there from when you're rubbing and massaging the skin. You're bringing a lot of the red blood cells to the surface of the skin as well. So this I probably do the skin scrub around once a week if I can remember, and it really does give the skin such an amazing glow as well. It just gives a complete refresh. You feel that it's really removed all those dead skin cells and left your hands feeling really hydrated as well, which is a necessity, like I said, especially in this cold weather. Then after I come in, drop on my cuticle oil, give it a little massage in, but I don't fully massage it in, and then I'll come in with a hand lotion, and then that picks up some of that excess cuticle oil and massages it into the rest of the skin as well. And when I'm not doing a video, I really take my time to massage that into the skin and show it a little bit of love. Then guys, this is the end of the video, so thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please do give it a thumbs up and hit that subscription button if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Bye bye.